It's just what's bothering me is that being a celebrity sometimes comes with, like, everybody wants to be successful in a celebrity and stuff like that, but it comes with, bull sometimes, and, that's the only thing that I hate about it.
Terrence Howard has finally opened up about what happened to Bryshere Gray in Hollywood, and his account is even more shocking than anything Jaguar Wright or anyone else has said. Terrence, who has always been against the exploitation of young black men in the industry, tried to protect Bryshere. Unfortunately, by the time he learned about what was allegedly happening to Bryshere, it was too late. Not only did they take advantage of Bryshere's body without his consent, but after using him, they reportedly got him addicted to substances and then blacklisted him from the industry. People began to notice something was wrong when Bryshere started getting into trouble with the law. His first major incident happened in 2020 when he was arrested for attacking his wife. She was so badly hurt that she had to flee to a nearby gas station to get help. When the police arrived at their home, Bryshere refused to come out, and it took hours of negotiations to get him to surrender. His wife later told the police that Bryshere had strangled her to the point where she started losing consciousness. The situation shocked many people, not just because of the severity of the attack, but also because they didn't know Bryshere was married. His mugshot also showed how badly he had deteriorated. He served time for this incident, but not long after his release, he was in trouble again. He was reportedly found guilty of attacking another woman, leading many to believe he had a pattern of violent behavior.
They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bryshere Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
But then Jaguar Wright came forward with more disturbing information. Jaguar claimed that both Diddy and Will Smith had taken advantage of Bryshere, forcing him into inappropriate situations under the guise of mentorship. She went even further, revealing that Bryshere's former manager, Charlie Mack, who worked with him when Bryshere was just 17, allegedly worked with Bryshere's mother, Andre Mayberry, to sell him to Diddy and Will. Jaguar even said that Andre reached out to her for help, but instead of removing Bryshere from this toxic environment, she did nothing and allowed these powerful men to continue exploiting her son.
And when I say Andy, I'm talking about Bryshere's mom. I'ma kick you in your and I'ma go to work North Philly style. You and Charlie, you happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell? I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life and what you had to do with it. You CI.
According to Jaguar, Bryshere was preparing to file a lawsuit, but he hadn't done so yet. She believes this lawsuit was the reason why Hollywood started pushing him out of the acting scene, labeling him as crazy or mentally unstable whenever he tried to speak out. Jaguar also mentioned that there was a secret tape involving Bryshere, Justin Bieber, Will Smith, Jaden Smith, and Diddy, showing them in a disturbing situation. As for the lawsuit, Jaguar suggested that Bryshere was preparing to file a $50 million lawsuit against Diddy. This information came from a blind item that hinted at an upcoming case where a male victim was about to speak out against a powerful mogul, who many believed to be Diddy. This revelation added fuel to the fire, making it clear that there was more to Bryshere's story than what had been publicly known. Terrence Howard hasn't directly commented on Bryshere Gray's situation, but it seems he wants Bryshere to speak for himself when he's ready. However, Terrence has shared his thoughts on what he believes is happening to black men in Hollywood.
That came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to get Bryshere, to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago safe, to be ready for filming. She knew she knew what Will did to him. because of Charlie, see? And Charlie had promised her all kinds of things. And all she had to do was pretend to be a broken down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television, when the truth is she wasn't nothing but a dealer's. That's all she ever was. She went from dealer to dealer, and then she snitched on whoever she needed to snitch on until she could get to the bigger bag, until she got with Larry Lair, my friend who raised Bryshere in $1 million home. Your whole book is lies, Andy. And I hope anybody that bought it asks for a refund and demands it comes out of your pocket every time they see your son's gay. You and Charlie Mack.
He spoke about how many Black men are being forced to change their masculinity and become more feminine in the industry. People think that Terrence may have been referring to Bryshere's situation when he mentioned men in Hollywood being turned into power bottoms, a term that implies they're used and exploited for money. In a recent interview, Terrence shared his strong feelings about how Hollywood is influencing Black men. He's convinced there's a plan to make Black men less masculine. He said that while white men in Hollywood are allowed to be strong and dominant, this is often not the case for Black men. Terrence believes that Black men are being pressured to give up their strength, and that the industry is pushing them to lose their power in order to fit into a certain narrative. He added that he doesn't want to change himself just to fit into someone else's story. Terrence said that men should be able to be themselves, strong and confident, while also appreciating the beauty of women. Many people found it interesting that Terrence brought up these ideas right when rumors were circulating about Bryshere being a victim of this so-called agenda. Bryshere was once considered a rising star in Hollywood, but now people are talking about him in a completely different light. Some have even suggested that he might be caught up in a situation where he's being exploited for money and fame. It seems clear that something went wrong in his career, something that was likely beyond his control. If Jaguar Wright's allegations are true, then Bryshere deserves justice for what he's gone through. In another interview, Terrence went further with his thoughts, saying that in Hollywood, Black men who are willing to change their masculinity are the ones who become successful. He believes that it's only those who give up their masculinity who end up making it big in the industry. He said that androgyny is now the standard, and that the more feminine men are the ones who are gaining success. While many people agreed with Terrence's points about the challenges facing Black men in Hollywood, some people felt it was hypocritical for him to speak out about this, considering his own controversial history with domestic violence.
If he needs prayer, I don't even know what's going on.
They trying to slay him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on. Come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No.
All that talent, and she let Charlie tune that boy up on, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a filial. You're a big old they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all.
Hey.
I'm sorry. The Bryshere conversation for me is not easy. Because I came to Belial and I asked Belial to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was his book.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
nobody
Definitely.
care about these kids. Don't nobody care about these kids.
There were claims that Terrence Howard has been accused of attacking women in the past, and some people pointed out that despite not being a young man in Hollywood anymore, he was still part of the problem. Others argued that Terrence must have seen the damage being done to Bryshere early on, but chose to stay silent, perhaps out of fear or for his own reasons. One person said Terrence Howard is correct in what he's saying, but Bryshere also needs to stand up for himself. They acknowledged that for many men, especially those who are seen as masculine, admitting that they've been taken advantage of is incredibly difficult. They also felt that instead of demonizing Bryshere, people should be helping him, and that he should take legal action against the people who allegedly mistreated him, including Will Smith and Diddy. Another person mentioned that Bryshere came into Hollywood with so much potential, looking fresh-faced and full of energy, but now he seems to have lost all that. They felt sorry for him, suggesting that something terrible must have happened behind the scenes. Now, people want to know what Bryshere's truth is and whether he will ever speak out. They also questioned whether Terrence Howard is right in encouraging Bryshere to come forward and tell the world what he's been through. So what do you think? Do you believe Bryshere was used by Diddy and Will Smith as part of a larger agenda in Hollywood? And do you agree with Terrence Howard's suggestion that Bryshere should come forward and speak his truth? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section.